Hi everyone, welcome to Just Love. My name is Paula and I'm here with Judy. Today we're going to continue with more questions and answers regarding transitioning and the in-between. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
In our last 2 episodes, we've been sharing information on the transitioning process and the in-between life state. There is quite a lot of fear, denial, and misinformation about this, with some believing that death is just the end for us and that our conscious awareness dies along with our physical brain. As we spoke about in our last episode, brain and consciousness are not the same thing. Our conscious awareness survives the death of the body. People also wonder what really happens after death, and if we get help and guidance once we leave the body. So Judy, can you talk about this? Who will be there to meet us?
Right, both ETs and angelic beings assist this process, working in accord with our own higher soul self. So yes, we do get plenty of help and guidance. And please don't be scared about coming face to face with ETs. They can show themselves in a form that you feel comfortable with. The last thing they want to do is cause fear.
And Judy, you have memories of this state. Can you tell us more about what you remember from working in your ET form?
Yes, Paula, I do. As an ET in my last life, I practiced conscious dying, as is taught in Buddhism down here. The Greys are completely consciously aware that their physical body is simply a container for the soul. So at so-called death, they just step out of it in full conscious awareness. I can recall meeting with my soul family up on the ship and discussing what choices needed to be made for me to continue in the best way with our mission. It was obvious to us that there was a lot of difficulty in communicating with Earth humans in our ET forms, and we could see that help was needed desperately down here. So a number of us chose to reincarnate in Earth human form, connected with the Earth human collective consciousness, but also remaining connected with the Grey collective, so we could act as bridges between the two species. Coming here in human form has allowed much easier communication. We came together to make plans about this mission on one of our motherships, which are actually interdimensional portals to other dimensions.
And you have memories of this as well, of the motherships being interdimensional portals.
Yes, I do. Back at the end of 2019, we were aware of a massive number of Earth people coming onto the mothership. They'd passed over, and our job was to talk to them, explain to them about death, and help them to go through to whichever portal was appropriate for each of them. It really was like an overcrowded airport terminal, and we were flat out busy trying to get them all sorted. Down here in our Earth human forms, those of us who remembered what went on up on the ship wondered what was going to happen here. But of course, this was just prior to the pandemic and the vax program that began in 2020. Many people used these means as a portal to leave the planet prior to the big planetary shift that's happening. In the greater reality, time does not apply, so we were getting a preview of future events.
So if all of these people were brought up onto the ship like that, are humans in that astral form when they pass over?
Yes, generally. The released consciousness at the point of death generally still retains its astral form, which is the spirit part of our being, closely resembling our physical form. At this point, we're directed to wherever we need to go to receive counselling and guidance.
So how do you see it? Is it like a person's aura?
As Greys, we can see all the layers of their being, but we can also just focus on the astral form. That time I was working up on the ship, removing the implant from the guy's head, I saw his Earth human form lying on the treatment table. I can't recall whether he'd been taken up in physical or astral form. I didn't really think about it at the time. It was most likely astral, but I knew I'd recognise him if ever I saw him down here in physical form. With the newly deceased people, they're guided to a dimension where they can connect with their higher soul self to be assisted in a totally compassionate and loving way by their soul family to do a review of the past life. This life review is what religions on earth wrongly interpret as God's judgment, but in reality we judge ourselves through the vastly expanded consciousness of our own soul self, which is the God essence that we all have within us, based in the heart chakra during our life.
So do you mean that in our heart of hearts, we really do know that we're not doing the right thing? I guess you'd have to take on a spiritual practice to really know and understand this.
The thing is, after our transition, we examine our past life from our higher self, soul, consciousness point of view. This is the God essence part of us, so it's clearly aware on all levels. There is no judgment in this process, as the lower self is gently guided through every aspect of the life just lived. Other lives are also viewed and taken into consideration. All of us at our core and in the greater reality are a soul. This soul, along with the soul essence of every other being in the universe, is an intrinsic part of the oneness of universal consciousness. This is what God really is. God is the universal consciousness that holds everything together in a state of oneness and gives life to all creation. It's the superglue and the life force energy of the universe, which itself is comprised of limitless dimensional frequencies of energy.
I'll just say that again. So God is the universal consciousness that holds everything together in a state of oneness and gives life to all of creation. It's the superglue and the life force energy of the universe, which itself is comprised of limitless dimensional frequencies of energy.
Okay. You need to get your head around it, hey? Believe it or not. With this in mind, we actually carry out our own life review, but from the vastly expanded conscious awareness of our soul self. At this level of perspective, there is no good or bad, there is only balance and imbalance of energy. Viewed from this higher perspective, we become aware of everything being energy. This is what Einstein's theory of relativity is all about.
Yes, remembering and understanding that this is all carried out from a higher perspective is important.
It sure is. In the life review, we are not looking from the very limited perspective of our Earth 3D-bound human mind. We are also not just looking at the last life we've experienced, but rather all our lives. This enables us to see the bigger picture and to review and plan accordingly on how and where balance needs to be restored on the karmic level. It's at this point decisions are made on how, when and where we need to go from here in order to gain more life experiences and knowledge to bring back to the whole soul to assist its further expansion. We also see where balance needs to be restored in the whole plan. From this expanded perspective, all souls reincarnate with the best intentions, but imbalance can arise once we cloak ourselves in the limits of 3D earth plane consciousness.
Okay, so even the most seemingly evil person is not born in that state. It comes upon them because of the forgetfulness of their true life plan once they return to human life.
Yes, exactly. And some people ask the question, why do we not carry this expanded awareness back with us to our next life? Why are we trapped in amnesia? The problem is, if our reincarnation involves being reborn into an earth human body, we simply won't have the brain capacity to process all this deeper understanding. As we evolve through many lives, our conscious awareness will certainly expand to enable us to access the greater reality, but the earth human brain generally cannot process this expanded state of awareness. Living on a level 1 planet like Earth, we're restricted to around 10% of our potential conscious awareness. More opens up as we evolve up through the levels of the human ladder from 1 to 10, and more of our DNA is activated. This is what evolution in the human kingdom is all about. On level 1, we can access approximately 10% of our whole soul consciousness. On level 2 of the ladder, 20%, on level 3, 30%, etc., up to full conscious awareness, 100% at level 10, where we consciously merge back into oneness. I emphasise the word consciously here.
Okay. So it's all a part of the soul's evolution.
Yes, this is the path that human evolution takes, up through these 10 universal levels of expanding conscious awareness that the Greys refer to as the human ladder. And this process gradually opens us up to more and more interdimensional awareness.
Okay, so what are the amnesia nets that some people talk about as being set up on Earth to stop people evolving? Do they really exist?
This is a perfect example of two different realities in play at the same time. One is the lower 3D reality, and the other is the higher dimensional greater reality. The 3D reality is based in fear and negativity, and the higher dimensional reality is based in love and positivity. On the 3D level, yes, Earth human consciousness is trapped by so-called amnesia nets because of the fact that most people on Earth only have access to approximately 10% of their potential conscious awareness, so therefore cannot access information from between lives. Many aren't even aware of reincarnation, so therefore have no way of understanding the bigger picture. This amnesia net that is blocking people from deeper understanding has been created through the massive amount of brainwashing, distractions and mind control that is exerted here on Earth through religion, politics, advertising, big business, the media, etc., etc. The planetary controllers are behind all such organisations, specifically to keep us under their control and in a state of blissful unconscious and emotional neediness. This is what pulls us back down here, life after life. In the greater reality, however, Earth is not a prison planet, but rather a school planet. Because as we evolve through reincarnation, we slowly but surely start to remember more as our consciousness expands, despite all the worldly distractions. This opening and expansion of consciousness is our natural path of evolution that cannot be stopped. It will always eventually break through the barriers because it is greater than any control ploy set up to block the process. We all have God consciousness within us, so eventually it will override any blocks in its path. The key to see past all the emotional brainwashing and not just get caught up in it. Once we begin to become more consciously aware, we can then tune into the fear and control energy that is motivating all these politicians, religions, government leaders and media. Once you can do this, you begin to awaken more and more. This is how Earth is a school planet. Our lesson is to learn how to connect into our own God essence through a personal spiritual practice of some sort, which in turn enables us to see past all the emotional control and brainwashing that's going on. Motivation to do this is born out of a growing need for deeper understanding and a realisation that what we are being told by the so-called authorities down here is not necessarily correct. It's a matter of starting to look at the deeper level and asking ourselves the question, is this motivated by fear or love? This is what the ET visitors mean when they tell you it's time to wake up.
And you actually have memories of saying this to people in your ET form, don't you, Judy? And of connecting with people on the other side.
Yes, Paula, I sure do.
Okay, so if you'd like to read more about all of this, Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go through Judy's website, which is in the link below.
And my books are Human by Day, Zeta by Night, followed by The Zeta Message, then Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and my two most recent books, both Kindle editions and both also available in German, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective.
Thanks, Jude, and thanks everyone for listening. Please share, like and subscribe. Sending you all much love, and bye for now.